2 games left in the regular season. Ohio State is playing under a self-imposed ban from any postseason tournament play. The final 2 games lead to the conference tournament, their only hope for a trophy. Iowa needs to finish the season strong to have a shot at a postseason bid. ESPN Plus Big Ten basketball is next. From Carver-Hawkeye Arena, it's time for Big Ten Conference basketball. The Ohio State Buckeyes beat the Iowa Hawkeyes. Well, everyone, Larry Morgan along with Bill Hosket. Just 2 games left in the regular season. Next week, the Big Ten tournament. Both these teams, Bill, trying to get some momentum on their way there.
Well, Ohio State with 18 wins on the season, but really struggled this past Sunday at home against the Wisconsin Badgers. Iowa, on the other hand, had their biggest Big Ten win of the year, a 22-point blowout of the Nittany Lions of Penn State.
Now, tonight we want to talk about a couple of guys who are about to gain or have already gained membership in a very exclusive club.
Well, for Ohio State, you're talking about Terence. He's their presence in the middle. He leads his team in rebounding. Last time out, he needed 10 points to get in the 1,000-point club. He ended up with 20. Terence having a great season for the Buckeyes, and Jeff Horner doing as well for the Iowa Hawkeyes. The junior guard, he makes his club go. He can score it off the dribble. He can shoot threes. He leads them in assists. He rebounds well for a guard. And with his very next point, he will join the 1,000-point club.
And so we're at the last week of the regular season. The intensity is up a notch as both Ohio State and Iowa still trying to claw their way up the Big Ten ladder. Tonight at Hightower, Tom O'Neill and J.D. Collins. Terence Dials to jump center opposite Greg Brunner, and we are set for action. Iowa trying for back-to-back conference victories for the first time this year. The Buckeyes trying to snap a 2-game losing streak. Both teams expected to go basically man-to-man tonight. That's the way the Buckeyes have opened.
Ohio State has played it almost exclusively all year long. Horner with the miss, and as always, Greg Brunner working hard inside. He'll get his team another opportunity.
Alaska bounces it over to Hanson, and the Hawkeyes with their 3rd consecutive opportunity. Hanson tries to make a baseline move on Dials. Henderson being guarded by Jamar Butler, an outstanding defensive player. Brunner finds Hanson open on the baseline. The Hawkeyes 3 shots, nothing to show for it. J.J. Sullinger with a rebound for Ohio State.
Steve Alford very concerned about Ohio State's ability to nail down the 3-point shot. Ohio State, one of their most impressive wins of the year in league play, taking place in Columbus against these very same Iowa Hawkeyes.
They hit 12 of 28 threes on that occasion to hand Iowa their worst conference loss, and as it was in Columbus, so it starts tonight in Iowa City with a 3 by number 3, Ivan Harris. It's really the key to the Buckeyes, isn't it, Bill? If they hit their threes, they're very dangerous.
Well, that opens up things inside. It'll pull the defense out and opens up things for Terence Dials down the low post. Just 5 of 22, though, in their last game against the Badgers of Wisconsin. There's Ivan Harris with a rebound, so he's got a 3 plus a board in the early going.
Jaquel Foster on the dribble for the Buckeyes. Our rookie backcourt of Butler, the true freshman, Foster, the junior college transfer. They've started now their 9th consecutive ball game. Dials goes inside to score. So the Buckeyes following a similar pattern to their 81-69 victory over Iowa. Dials inside and the perimeter working well early.
Nice move by Dials going up with the left hand. Alaska jumper doesn't fall. 1 and done for the Hawkeyes. Jamar Butler pushing it up.
Butler with a nice speed on the baseline, and Harris winds up with the bucket. And it's a quick start for the Buckeyes in Iowa City, where they have won 4 of the last 5 visits. The odd thing about this series, Bill, home court has not meant a lot. The Buckeyes have had great success in Iowa City. The Hawkeyes, great success in Columbus.
Certainly the case in the past few years.
Alaska looking for the first Iowa points. And for Adam Halaska, his 50th three-pointer of the season.
Halaska just coming into his own as a Big Ten basketball player. He's a sophomore. He transferred from Iowa State. He's averaged over 19 a game his last 7 games ever since the dismissal of Pierre Pierce.
So Sullinger tries to take it to the rack, challenged by the Big Ten shot block leader Hansen. This time he picks up a foul. Let's take a look at the starting lineups in the ball game. This is the way that both teams open tonight. Sullinger and Hosket. That could be an interesting matchup should they pair off.
Well, they're two of the best overall athletes in the Big Ten. J.J. Sullinger, tremendous athlete, been somewhat inconsistent, still averages in double figures, and you saw his athletic ability right there as he challenged Hansen inside and went up high enough to avoid the block and get fouled. This is the first of two.
Sullinger, a slow start this year at the free throw line through November and December, but in the last 15 games has hit 78% of his free throw tries. He goes 1 of 2 here and stakes the Buckeyes to an 8-3 lead.
And those two are matched up against one another in the man-to-man defense. That's J.J. Sullinger down inside against Adam Hosket.
Thad Matta on the bench for the Buckeyes in his first year, was hired July 7th, has certainly made up for lost time and really established himself as a guy who's going to get this Ohio State program to the next level.
Well, he's got remarkable energy and has done a terrific job. Here's a club without any postseason hopes other than the Big Ten tournament, like you mentioned at the top, and they've won 18 ball games.
Horner becomes a 1,000-point scorer by knocking down a 3. The 14th active Big Ten player to be a 1,000-point scorer. Jeff Horner gets it on one of his favorite shots. That is 73 of the year.
Cuts the Ohio State lead to just 2 points. Harris tries it again from deep in the right corner.
Harris, a guy who loves taking the 3. In fact, the Buckeyes are a team that loves taking the 3. But Jeff Horner, only a junior, not only became a member of the 1,000-point club, but is the only Hawkeye with 1,000 points, more than 400 rebounds, and more than 400 assists. He's had an outstanding career so far at Iowa.
Well, and he did this one big time. That's Shaquille Foster against him. That was an NBA range 3.
Sullinger on the last foul, so the team fouls even at 1 in the early going. Giles tries for the takeaway, but Hansen is able to recover for Iowa. Hosket down the lane to the rack, leaves it short. Sullinger's there to clean it up for the Buckeyes. Butler trying to push tempo. This is Foster. From outside, the shot, nothing but forward for Ivan Harris. More than half of his shots are 3s. This from a guy who is 6'8".
Well, no matter how well you scout a team, it's just hard to believe a guy of that size is going to let it go from where he catches it. But that's what Ivan Harris, that's the strength of his game. At that size, he's a catch-and-shoot guy. Definitely.
Sullinger very active on the boards for the Buckeyes thus far. He's the team's number 2 rebounder at 5.5 per game. But he already has 3 rebounds in this one.
Nice pass by Terence Dials across the baseline to Sullinger, who makes another nice move going to the hoop.
Slicing his way into the lane to score and give the Buckeyes a 7-point lead. And with that, Steve Alford will call a quick timeout. So he can't wait for the media timeout. He doesn't want this one to get out of hand early. As we see Jeff Horner, the 37th Hawkeye to join the 1,000-point club. And again, only a junior. Doesn't matter to Mason City, played for his dad, Bob Horner up there, committed to Iowa very early in his high school career. And Bob Horner on the left, mother Bev on the right, some proud parents. And Bob used to be the coach of Mason City up until this year. He decided he wanted to give up coaching so he wouldn't miss any of his son's games, at least the ones here in Iowa City.
Well, he had to enjoy his son just hitting that milestone jumper.
Alex Thompson inserted into the Hawkeye lineup at the dead ball. Thompson, the freshman from Ames, Iowa.
Ohio State 5 out of 6 from the floor here in the early going. Hawkeyes just 2 out of 9. They've had some decent looks.
Ohio State's been aggressive on the defensive end with their man-to-man defense. The shot clock is at 10 as Hosket pulls up and does not get the bounce. Doug Thomas is coming to the lineup for Iowa. And there's a foul in the backcourt on Henderson as the Buckeyes try to bring it up. So Ohio State off to a quick start on the road with a 7-point lead in Iowa City. In Columbus, Ohio State led all the way. So far, they've led all the way in this one at 13-6.
Well, Ohio State's controlled the game here in the early going. 5+ minutes at the offensive end. They're getting him outside. There was a penetrating move by Foster. The dish to Harris. Then Terence Dials rolls across the middle, goes up with the left hand, knocks it in. Sullinger on the dribble drive. So Ohio State scoring from a lot of different angles and a lot of different ways. For for the Hawkeyes, just 2 3-point field goals in the game.
Ohio State still hasn't made a substitution, staying with their starters. Right now, Thad Matta's team's got the hot hand. He sees no reason to make any changes. Hawkeyes with 2 subs in on the front line. Thomas and Thompson are up front. The field goal shooting for the Buckeyes, incredible. But again, no team loves to take threes more than Ohio State. They took 630 of them coming in tonight. And Child this time scores his second basket inside.
Nice play by Jaquel Foster again. Penetrating move and the good dish to Terence Dials. Nice finish.
40 for 3.
Crowd getting a little restless here as the Hawkeyes last weekend led by 27 at halftime against Penn State and struggling offensively so far in this one.
Iowa went on to post a 78-56 win on Saturday to break a 3-game losing streak. Good looks have been tough for the Hawkeyes to come by. Thomas dishes into the lane but does not get the roll. Thompson active trying to get the rebound, but it's taken away from him by Harris. Harris for 3, leaves it short. Warner leads the break the other direction. Henderson with a quick move to the baseline to score. The sophomore from Waterloo East scores for the first time tonight.
And that's one of the advantages Steve Alford felt that his club had coming into this one, the ability to move in transition and get easy hoops against Ohio State. A little quicker team, getting to the offensive end.
Off the ball, we have Thomas hitting the deck.
Push up the floor and getting the layup off the glass.
So Henderson scores, and Ohio State will make their first changes. Matt Sylvester comes in, coming off a tough shooting ball game against Wisconsin, was 0 of 7 shooting the 3 ball. Also in is Tony Stockman, who was the starter for the first 20 games of the year.
Ohio State mixing their offense, going inside with 8 points already. That time tried to force it a little bit into Terence Dials, but I think it'll stay with Ohio State.
Thomas, an athletic leaper, gets a hand on it to knock it away.
And Larry, the guards on the floor now for Ohio State are the 2 that started the game in Columbus. The Buckeyes throw it away, and Foster commits a personal, but saved an easy basket at the other end by doing so.
That will be the second foul on Ohio State.
Talk about changes made by coaches. Thad Matta made a switch, has gone with Jaquel Foster, Jamar Butler in the backcourt, Tony Stockman and Brandon Foose-Cheatham, 2 seniors now coming off the bench. And of course, Iowa in that first meeting got a career high out of Pierre Pierce, who has since been dismissed from the club. He had 31 in Columbus.
Jack Brunner, the lone Hawkeye senior on the court now, number 15, a former walk-on who's on scholarship in his senior year. Once again, the Buckeyes doing a good job defensively. Shot clock inside 10. Hosket on the spin to score.
Just so athletic and a nice move as he not only made the spin move, but he did it so well. He got totally squared to the hoop as he made that move.
An open look for Stockman, and the rebound comes to Brownlee. Brownlee had a Fort Dodge, Iowa, went to St. Edmunds High School, led them to a state championship in his senior year. Hosket, does he have the hot hand? Not this time, but he will go to the line with a foul whistle against Jaquel Foster, who picks up his second foul. Well, Adam Hosket has been the Hawkeye who has truly picked it up with Pierre Pierce gone.
Well, there was that move moments ago as he spins and just hangs in the air, squares his shoulder, knocks it in. And that one brought defensive attention from Jaquel Foster. Foster then playing right on the ball, picks up his second personal foul. Had that one moments ago after the turnover. Now fouls Hosket in the act of shooting. So Foster will leave with 12:09 remaining in the first half.
And the Hawkeyes will make a change. Brunner comes back to the lineup. Thompson leaves. Hosket 6th in the Big Ten in free throw shooting at 80%. But we mentioned over the last 7 games, averaging 5 more points a game than he had been, averaging 19 over the last 7 ball games. Also hitting more than half of his field goals at 52% in that stretch.
Made free throw. The Hawkeyes set up their pressure.
So the Buckeye 9-point lead cut to 3. Iowa to wrap it up on the road on Saturday at Michigan, and of course the Buckeyes at home trying to spoil the perfect regular season of the Illini. And the threes continue to fall for Ohio State's Tony Stockman, knocked down his 62nd 3 this year.
Nice play by Stockman, starting down inside and coming out on top using the screen. Had plenty of time. When he gets that kind of time, you know it's going to go airborne.
Brownlee looking inside, nothing going, so he pitches it back outside. Brunner not looking for the pass. Brownlee throwing it the other direction. The Hawkeyes guilty of a turnover. And that brings us to a timeout with 11 minutes and 16 seconds left to play in the first half. The Buckeyes are hot from beyond the arc. The Buckeyes have led all the way, 18-12, their current margin. They're having some fun on the court during this timeout in Iowa City. The threes have been falling for Ohio State.
Well, Tony Stockman gets that kind of space and that much time, and you know it's going to go. And in most cases, looking straight on, he will knock it down. As you look at Thad Matta's offense this year, both school records, 238 of 636 behind the arc. Big Ten records are both held by Penn State. When the Crispin brothers were there, they treated that line like it was a fence.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. The interesting thing is Ohio State 636 three-point attempts. Illinois has shot over 600 threes, and nobody else in the league has shot more than 500. This is for all games. So that shows you how much a part of the Ohio State offense the three-point shot is. Brunner slapping it away from Dials, and the Hawkeyes, who have not led in the ballgame, trail by 6, bring it up the court.
Dials that time trying to move across the middle with that left hand again, and Greg Brunner doing a nice job. Just help defense, reaching in.
Brunner knocks down his second three of the ball game. And he's rapidly moving up the list for single-season threes by hitting 2 tonight. He's got 71, ties him with Jeff Moe for 4th place on the number of threes in a single season in Iowa history.
Iowa having a hard time shooting the ball here tonight percentage-wise, but they're only one possession behind. Steve Alford has to feel good about that. Buckeyes turn it over.
Iowa's done a nice job of handling the basketball. They haven't shot it especially well, but they have not turned it over, and the Buckeyes have. Now, one of the early stories, Thomas, Brownlee, Brunner, Horner, and Carlton Reed in the lineup right now for the Iowa Hawkeyes. That is Reed. Iowa's Mr. Basketball this season. Goes Sylvester, picks it off, has the numbers, takes it to the rack, and scores it.
Nice play by Matt Sylvester. Taking 3/4 of the floor on the dribble. He's kept his dribble alive, found the opening, knocks it in off the glass.
Sylvester's had some of his best moments and some of his worst moments right here in Iowa City. It was last year that he hurt his foot here, hurt his arch, and missed most of the rest of the year. But a couple of years ago, he had a breakout game here as Thomas hits from the top of the circle for the Hawkeyes to cut the Ohio State lead to 3.
Thomas with a short jumper facing the hoop. Got the friendly bounce as it landed softly on the front rim.
Thomas, like a lot of first-year players, has been inconsistent. Horner with a nice reaction to get the steal. He gets fouled by Stockman and has a chance at a three-point play.
Not a good sequence there for senior guards of Ohio State. A lazy pass from Brandon Fushidum, and then the breakout by Horner. And not only does Horner get the basket, but Stockman gets there just in time to bump him.
You're right.
Nice hustle play. He has a chance to tie this game.
A couple of seniors maybe not showing their experience right there. So Horner with 8 points. Adam Haluska with 7, doing the bulk of the damage for the Hawkeyes as far as the scoring is concerned. And Horner ties the ball game at 20 on his 9th point.
Well, the Hawkeyes were 4 of 14 at one time. They've made their last 5 field goal attempts.
Sylvester feeds Dials. Trying to keep it alive as Brunner.
Dials is down on the floor.
And he is limping.
Right ankle or right knee for Terence Dials. He's back up.
Iowa looking for their first lead, and they get it. On a slashing move into the lane by Carlton Reed.
Nice play by Carlton Reed. Great quickness. Found the opening and took advantage of it.
So the Buckeyes behind for the first time tonight. Brandon Fushidum, one of the seniors, along with Stockman, another. The guard-to-guard exchange, and the ball knocked down by Stockman, and he's hit both shots that he's taken tonight. He had 19 the last time these two teams got together.
Tough move by Tony Stockman with a hand in his face, hitting that little floater on the baseline.
Brunner. Dials going for the block, picks up the foul.
Terence Dials has stayed on the floor, but he's bent over right now. Ohio State has to be concerned about that big guy in the middle because he is the presence at the offensive end for Ohio State. He's walking it off. Looks like he's going to be all right.
Thad Matta really proud of Terence Dials this year and his new commitment to work harder in the best shape of his career. It's paid obviously big dividends.
Well, it certainly has, and he's had from the offensive end before very much a breakout season. Very good hands, working on his footwork all the time, and he's been very consistent the entire season.
Eric Hansen back into the Iowa lineup. Doug Thomas will leave. Brunner coming off his 10th double-double of the season against Penn State on Saturday. 14 points, 14 rebounds, and 5 assists. Scores for the first time in this one to give Iowa a 1-point advantage.
Ohio State, the deeper of these two clubs here tonight as far as bench play is concerned, but Iowa's bench has contributed very much here in the early going, getting them back in this game with some hustle plays. Now the Hawkeyes showing a 2-3 zone.
Sullinger, Harris, Dials, Butler, and Stockman right now on the court for the Buckeyes with a shot clock of 10. Shot clock at 4. Butler knows it, runs out of time, forces his shot, and does not get it to go down. But he was aware that he had to take that shot.
Well, the zone defense did the job against the Buckeyes as it took them a while to recognize it before they got organized. Never really got a decent shot attempt.
Reed open from the corner for 3. Rebound run down by Jamar Butler. Sullinger in deep.
Nice fake by Tony Stockman and shoots the air ball.
Brunner with a second rebound. Reed battling Butler for the loose basketball. Tom O'Neill is right there to say it's out of bounds off Ohio State. It'll be Iowa ball when we come back to Iowa City. A 1-point ball game between Iowa and Ohio State. It's the final home game of the regular season for the Iowa Hawkeyes as they take on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Larry Morgan and Bill Hosket with you. The Buckeyes with an early 9-point lead, but the Hawkeyes now back on top, 23-22. And turnovers have been a factor thus far.
Iowa coming up with 8 points off turnovers, so they are getting out in transition. Any miscue by Ohio State and the Hawkeyes are out and running. Their bench has only contributed 4 points, but they did a good job defensively while on the floor for the Hawkeyes.
And again, as you mentioned, the deeper of these two teams is Ohio State. They bring a couple of seniors in off the bench, a luxury that Iowa does not have for the most part. Their bench made up of inexperienced players, largely freshmen.
Brunner making just a big, strong move inside as Steve Alford looks on.
Steve Alford had talked about prior to the start of the conference season that the development of the bench might be a big factor in where his team placed in the conference. Here's one of the freshmen off the bench, Reed, trying to drop it inside to Hansen, who can't hang on to the ball, goes to the Buckeyes on the Iowa turnover.
Pretty good move by Reed, getting it inside. Hansen, as you mentioned, not able to control it. Probably had the easy one if he just makes the catch.
Reed missed Iowa's Saturday game at Penn State to attend the funeral of an aunt. Down the lane, trying to take it all the way, the outstanding freshman Jamar Butler. Now let's take a look at the well-marked Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Iowa Hawkeye highlight.
Well, that's Jeff Horner. He's nailed a couple of threes in this game, and that first one gave him 1,002 points on his career.
Horner right now on the Iowa bench. Jamar Butler fouled by Mike Henderson, goes to the line and hits the free throw for his first point. Thad Matta saying earlier today when Iowa and Ohio State played for the first time, Butler didn't even look like he belonged in a Big Ten game, but he's seen a very steady improvement ever since.
He got more playing time because of his effort at the defensive end, which Thad Matta thinks so highly of. Jamar Butler starting to assert himself just a little bit more offensively as the season goes on.
Last year's Ohio Mr. Basketball out of Shawnee Central in Lima. Warner back on the court for the Hawkeyes. Haluska going for the ball, and Butler trying to take it away from him.
Thad Matta Brunner was the closest person to it, I think, over there along the sideline. Quickly took a seat on the bench.
The way he reacted, I thought maybe he thought they were going to call a foul on Butler.
I thought it was Ohio State's ball. There's a nice move by Henderson. Doesn't go.
Henderson tries to get it back and can't. Dials secures it for Ohio State. Buckeyes with the ball in a 1-point lead.
Eric Hansen needs some success at the offensive end to get that confidence back that he had earlier in the year. Not even looking for his shot that often. Now here's a move inside as Ohio State continues their attempts at penetration, getting it down inside. Hansen helping out. I think he picked up the personal.
He did. It's his second. He's the Big Ten shot block leader and 10th in the country at 77. But as you say, Bill, in the conference season, he's lost some confidence in offense and picked up a number of fouls on defense trying to block shots. And so he finds himself in foul trouble again with 6:05 to go in the half. Sullinger against Hosket. Gets by Hosket. Can't finish the shot. And Brunner goes high to pull down his third rebound. Hosket at the other end. Challenged and fouled by Sullinger. And JJ's got his second foul.
And that transition was so quick right there. They beat all the officials down the floor. Sullinger guilty of the reach-in foul, grabbing the arm as Hosket. Good athlete, gets out and runs well. Took it to the hoop.
Good athlete, good student as well. Academic all-district, finance major with a 3.4 grade point average. In fact, despite transferring from Ohio State, if he chose to, he could graduate and get his undergraduate degree next year, and what would it be his junior year of eligibility. He's that advanced in the classroom.
Well, his father was a high school principal. That might have something to do with it. A lot of attention to academics.
You think they emphasized academics in the Hosket household?
Maybe just a tad.
You could be right. Brandon Cheatham brings it ahead for the Buckeyes with Iowa back into the lead, and a lead that is now seesawed back and forth over the last 2.5 minutes.
Del Foster stays on the Ohio State bench with 2 personal fouls. They're looking for Dials inside. He's working against the freshman now, Seth Gorney.
Vandalia, Ohio. The shot by Harris rings in. He has hit a couple from the right side of the court. Now he ranges over to the left side of the court, knocks down his third three.
And that was as close to being out of bounds, I think, as you can be, where he released that one.
Harris with a quick 11 for Ohio State. Alaska, rather Brunner into the lane, and the rebound taken by Dials. Exactly 5 to go in the half. His hesitation dribble by Butler. Dials is there for the putback.
Nice job, though, by Butler, taking it inside, keeping that dribble alive, and pulled the defense toward him, and Terence Dials had an open pass for the offensive glass.
Brunner being guarded by Harris. Gorney working against Dials.
Nice screen out on top, and Gordon Horner take advantage of that.
11 points for Jeff Horner on the night that he became a 1,000-point scorer. Iowa back to within 1. Jack Brownlee inserted back into the Iowa lineup. Carlton Reed relief. Brandon Cheatham, the senior from Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. Certainly he's had a tough year with a traffic accident prior to the season that claimed the life of his mother, seriously injured his dad.
Basketball's been a real salvation for him the following months of the tragedy.
Dials with his 8th point for Ohio State, and they open a 3-point lead.
Ohio State getting just a little bit more inside offense than what the Hawkeyes are. But Iowa has the ability to nail some threes.
Gorney goes inside and gets tied up. Well, Terence Dials has certainly been a big story this year for Ohio State. He's the 6th leading scorer in the Big Ten in all games, averaging 15.8. He's been a factor in the paint tonight, and Ohio State leads at Iowa by 3. 3:55 left to play in the first half in Iowa City. Ohio State leads Iowa 31-28. That last play where Seth Gorney took it inside, Ivan Harris got whistled for a foul. That'll be his first foul, and that's the 7th foul called on the Buckeyes. So as play resumes, Gorney goes to the free throw line. Gorney coming off a career high 6 at Penn State on Saturday when he played 12 minutes. Got a couple of offensive rebounds as well. There's Jeff Horner, who's had a good night for the Hawkeyes with 11 points. He's leading them in scoring so far. Gorney at the line only 3 times this year. And he's hit them all, and he still is perfect on the year from the free throw line. Now, his opponents have been attempting more free throws in 11 of the last 12 ball games. Now, that's very much unlike the way Steve Alford's teams usually play. Never fails that jinx, does it, Bill?
All you had to do was talk about it, Larry.
A 2-point lead for Ohio State. Who's Cheatham, Butler, Giles, Stockman, and Harris on the court right now for Ohio State. Giles, big move into the lane. And draws a foul as he goes in there.
Well, Seth Gorney got caught in behind him, the big freshman, and Dials just way too quick that time. He caught it low in a basketball position. Gorney was outstretched, and he's upset with himself, but just a good move by an upperclassman as the junior made a little spin move inside.
Dials a big game in Columbus against the Hawkeyes. 22 points and 8 rebounds. Interesting thing happened to him Sunday, Bill, on the way to a really outstanding ball game. He had 20 points in the first 32 minutes, but no shots over the last 18 minutes, or I should say the first 22 minutes, no shots over the last 18 minutes.
We'll give Wisconsin some credit for that. They really changed up on Ohio State. Dials was such a force early, and they just doubled and triple teamed him the rest of the way. Dared Ohio State to beat him from the outside, and it simply didn't happen.
And the Badgers came away with a 64-56 victory.
Wisconsin does such a great job, though, of making you play defense in long stretches. They're a tough team to catch once they have a lead. Take great advantage of the shot clock. Iowa trying to develop some offensive rhythm. Not a good shot that time by Jeff Horner.
Still had plenty of time, still had 10 on the shot clock when he took the shot, and Ohio State with the ball and a chance to add to a 4-point lead. As we hit the 3-minute mark in the first half. Stockman looking outside, and he palmed it. He turned it over, got his hand under the ball. Turnover Ohio State. Coming up at halftime, we'll look at potential seedings in the Big Ten tournament. Find out more about academics at both schools, and Bill and I will look back at first half highlights and stats. Iowa tries to score off the Buckeye turnover. Ed Matta, winner everywhere he's been. Great 1 year at Butler, 24-8, 3 years at Xavier. Terrific record there as well. And right now, 7-7 in the Big Ten in his first year.
As he said today, he just loves coaching in this conference. He likes the preparation. He likes everything about it. The teams, the schools, the coaches he's going against, the arenas, and even the fans. So he was positive on every count here today.
He certainly was. Thomas opened up the free throw line, nails it to make it a 2-point ball game. Here's Cheatham off the Dials screen. Right back to Dials to score, and he's fouled.
Good job of Brandon Foose Cheatham keeping that dribble alive. Went in there with the left hand, his strong hand, looking for Dials the entire way. Use a little brush screen again, and there's the opening. Takes it inside, little shovel pass. Nice catch and finish by Dials, a chance at the 3-point play.
Brunner with the foul. Dials with a 12-point first half. Hosket jumps quickly into the lane to come up with his first rebound. Iowa gets the transition, but doesn't get it to finish. Thomas on the miss. Buckeyes quickly back into the offensive end. Inside 2 minutes in the first half, Ohio State has led most of the way. Has led by as many as 9. Right now they lead by 4 and try to add. Bruce Cheatham with a jump shot. Brunner with a rebound. Hosket comes off the screen, misses the shot. Bruce Cheatham and Hosket battle for it. Hosket comes up with it. And Harris clears it for Ohio State.
Nice hustle play by Hosket. Very aggressive. Didn't get it to drop. Stockman takes it into traffic and lucky to get out of there with it.
Butler trying to get the ball inside to Dials. Kicked by Thomas, so 35 seconds put back on the shot clock. 1:13 on the first half clock, and it's Buckeye basketball. Ohio State 2-7 on the road with road wins at Northwestern and at Penn State. The Hawkeyes 12-3 on their home court and missed their regular season finale at home. Stockman loses the basketball. Brunner scoops it up, but then throws it right back to Jamar Butler.
Tad Mata right up the Ohio State bench wants a timeout as Tony Stockman, last couple of possessions, really putting it down in traffic.
Ed Hightower with a conversation with the Buckeye Brain Trust prior to them going to their timeout huddle. So Ohio State leading the bulk of the night thus far. Dials a big performance against Iowa and Columbus, and more of the same tonight, Bill.
And Ivan Harris really asserting himself at both ends with 6 boards in the game and has knocked into 3-pointers.
And for the Hawkeyes, Horner leads the way with 12 points. Brunner, who's the team's rebound leader and the conference rebound leader, leading them in that category, and Horner leading the team in assists.
Steve Alford also concerned about his team having some droughts at the offensive end from time to time. They started here very slowly tonight and got themselves right back in it.
So the Buckeyes will take the ball into the offensive end as we go into the last minute of the first half.
And Iowa, coming out of the dead ball situation, changes their defense again. They go back to the zone, which was effective for them earlier in the game.
Harris trying to bust up the zone, misfires. Horner grabs the rebound, his 3rd rebound. Had a 9-second difference between the shot clock and the first half clock.
The club Iowa has on the floor right now, you look for either Horner or Hosket to put it up here in this situation.
Shot clock at 10. Thompson goes baseline. Thomas from the free throw line.
Nice job by Horner.
And now the shot clock is off. And the Hawkeyes will try to score to end the first half.
He just wants it cleared out so he can go one-on-one or find an open man.
Brownlee on his senior night knocks down a 3.
Big basket for the Hawkeyes and a nice job by Horner getting them another opportunity.
Well, the Hawkeyes think that they still have a chance to get in the NCAA tournament. At least there's that kind of speculation. Is it possible? We'll talk about it in just a moment when we come back at halftime. Maybe past that person's bedtime, but everybody else is pretty enthralled in this one. 4 ties, 4 lead changes in the first half. Ohio State with the lead by 1 at the half. What do you look for in the second half?
Well, I think Ohio State wants to continue to go inside. 26 of their 35 from the 3 people on the front line. Iowa, they have to get some offense out of Hanson and Brunner. They just had a single point between the 2 of them, and the 1 point by Brunner.
Now let's take a look at our Shelter Insurance first half highlights.
This is Jeff Horner. Excellent first half. Got it back to Hosket. Adam had 9 in the first half. Horner with 12. And they did most of their damage from out on the floor. Ohio State a combination. Foster, who had the 2 early fouls, makes a nice dish there to Terence Dials, who had the big first half. And Ivan Harris knocked in 3 of 6 from behind the arc.
For your insurance needs, visit shelterinsurance.com to find the shelter agent near you. Seek shelter today. Halftime is 35-34 at the half. We take a look at the stats of the first half, Bill. We see that the Buckeyes shot it very well.
Well, extremely well in the first half. Ohio State 13 out of 23. Boards are even at 15 apiece. Iowa with those 10 points off of Ohio State turnovers. So when they got their opportunities, they did get it out in transition. Ohio State with that big advantage inside.
Individually, we talked about Sullinger and Hosket in that matchup tonight, and Hosket was the better of that match.
Well, Hosket is the more prolific scorer of the 2, averaging, like we said, over 19 over the last 7 games. J.J. Sullinger made some nice moves in that first half, had a couple of shots that simply did not drop as he took it inside.
About Now to begin the second half, we look at the leading scores. Dials and Horner, 12 apiece to lead their respective ball clubs. Both teams go back to their starting lineup to begin the second 20 minutes of play. That includes Jaquel Foster for Ohio State, who got only 8 minutes in the first half after picking up a couple of early fouls. Ohio State 18-3 when they lead at the half. Iowa 3-7 when they trail at the half. Hansen gets his block. His first block of the night, his 78th this year. He leads the Big Ten. And to put that in contrast, that's his 78th block. Coming in tonight, the Buckeyes as a team at 56.
And he only plays about half the time, which is amazing. The number of blocks that he has. His production has been very good at the defensive end.
Get another look at those leading scores from the first half. Topped by Dials and Horner, but as you see, Harris and Hosket right behind for their respective ball clubs. An open look, and Brunner leaves it a bit short, and the rebound is taken down by Sullinger. Ohio State trying for their third road win of the year. Dials inside, works on Hansen. Hansen goes for the block. Dials gets around him to put it in for his 14th point.
Nice move by Terence Dials, especially when you realize psychologically you just got blocked the last time you took it inside. So that time, Dials, a little hesitation move.
Brunner and Sullinger scrap for the rebound. Sullinger gets the foul, his third.
And Ohio State not in foul difficulty as a team tonight, but a couple of individuals. Jaquel Foster picked up 2 in that first half and sat, as did Sullinger. And JJ goes right back to the bench here. Minute 7 into the second half.
Horner can't finish off the inbound. Again, a collision inside. This time it is Harris and Brunner battling for the rebound. And this time it is Harris on the push, and that's his second foul. So the Buckeyes have 3 team fouls called on the first minute and 11 seconds of the second half. And now Harris will leave the lineup. Matt Sylvester comes in. Iowa in arrears by 3 as Henderson goes down the lane, and he gets fouled.
So 3 personal fouls on Ohio State without the ball getting to the other end of the floor. So the Buckeyes putting themselves in some difficulties here in the early going.
That Mata may be in a state of disbelief at this particular moment.
4th team foul.
Again, all that in a minute 20 seconds, and Hosket gets into double figures for the Hawkeyes. He's been in double figures now in 22 of the 28 games that he's played.
With that size advantage, he just posted up Jaquel Foster, who's an excellent defender, but he just took him inside. And now we've got a bump going down through the middle. I think that's Jamar Butler that got poked, and he is down on the floor.
Butler, the very talented Ohio State freshman. Hopefully just had the wind knocked out of him. And Mata's going to come over and take a look.
Don't know what happened, but he took a pretty good shot if he's down. And as you said, it appeared like he was having difficulty breathing. Up in a seated position. Vince O'Brien, the Ohio State trainer, with him.
So a 1-point ball game in this tight battle between the Buckeyes and the Hawkeyes. Ohio State winning here for the last 5 years. Last year Iowa swept the series. We'll get another look and figure out what happened to Jamar Butler.
Well, there's a bump. Hey, that's all that happened.
That could have been it.
Yeah. Jamar saying, you know, in Lima High School, that would have been a foul.
Brunner saying, I don't think you're welcome in my neighborhood. Because he shoves him out of the way. And right now,
Mata talking that over right now with J.D. Collins.
Checking his ribs, checking his sternum, make sure they're all the president accounted for. Buckeye ball with a 1-point lead. Dials gets inside.
Oh, how about that one? He just sneaks it up under his arm that time. Nice move by Terence Dials, going with the right hand.
Eric Hansen with his third foul. Dials a chance at a 3-point play.
Had that side cleared out. Hansen, an excellent defender. That time probably looking for the little half hook, and Dials just sneaks it in with the right hand very quickly.
Dials in double figures for the 8th consecutive ball game. the second time he's had a chance at a three-point play and been unable to convert the free throw part of it. Hawkeyes with their starters on the court as the second half begins, and they still are that way 2 minutes into the second half.
Who's Cheatham trying to get over the screen out on top, and he makes it successfully. Illegal screen. Brunner. Now Greg's got to be careful. He's appealing there, as you see Hanson on the bench, but Greg, don't say anything about that one. You just got away with a pretty good one.
Brunner with his second foul. But he's long since forgotten that one.
That was 2 possessions ago.
That's right. Who's Cheatham against Henderson. Nice pass inside to Dials, but it's chopped away by the combination of Horner and Brunner. Henderson makes a move on Sullinger, goes inside to score.
Nice play.
Henderson just stayed after it and showed his quickness there and brings Iowa to within 1.
Lamar Butler not making fun of the no call, but not the injury. He's getting wrapped over along the Ohio State sideline, wrapping his ribs.
Sylvester missing on the 3. Henderson pulls down his first rebound. Henderson makes a move once again inside. Iowa gets the lead back if they can score. 4 lead changes in the first half of play. Brandon Cheatham sneaks in between, steals the ball away from Thomas. Stockman with a no-look pass to Sylvester.
Sylvester with a nice sense of where he was on the floor. Just shoveled that one right up and in. Nice fake by Hosket.
Shot clock is at 20 seconds as the Hawkeyes try to penetrate the Buckeye man-to-man. Brunner makes a move, but as he does, he gets... There's a violation spotted. The whistle blows, and good look at that last Buckeye basket. Nice feed. Brandon Cheatham to Matt Sylvester. Sylvester picking up a foul on that last play for Ohio State. That's already 5 team fouls on the Buckeyes, and we've not yet played 4 minutes in the second half.
And the Hawkeyes a good free throw shooting team. Could pay dividends in this one before it's over. 16:04 remaining in regulation.
Iowa 69% free throw shooting team on the year. Sylvester goes to the block on Brunner and picks up his second foul. And it's 16 fouls against the Buckeyes in 4 minutes to begin the second half. Admont not very pleased at the way things are going at this particular junction. Brunner with a single point in the first half. He's the team leading scorer at 14-6.
Well, he's been quiet offensively, but he's not a guy that's going to be quiet as far as his work ethic. He's going to stay right with it. One of the hardest working players in the conference. Gets 1 out of 2 at the line.
In conference games this year, Brunner number 1 in rebounding, number 7 in scoring, and number 8 in steals. Stockman shakes Horner. Can't finish the shot. Sylvester crashing through trying to get the ball. Knocks it out of bounds. It belongs to Iowa when we return to Iowa City. The Buckeyes and the Hawkeyes locked up in a tight battle. It's Ohio State with the lead. Welcome back to Carver-Hawkeye Arena, where Ohio State leads Iowa by a score of 41-39. Let's take a look at some other scores, Bill, and some games being played across the country tonight in the top 25, and Wake Forest with a good ball game against Georgia Tech. UConn having no trouble with Georgetown. Villanova with a lopsided lead.
Connecticut's really found their stride, and Michigan State rebounding after the loss at Indiana.
Michigan State clinches second place in the Big Ten with a victory tonight. That would put them at 12-3. Iowa ties it with a 2, takes the lead with a 3. Horner with the shot and moves out. Brandon Cheatham gets a hand on it, but can't control it. And Doug Thomas comes out with it for Iowa. Fusch-Cheatham with a block of Henderson.
Nice play inside by Brandon Fusch-Cheatham.
Kel Foster scooping up the loose basketball, and now the Buckeyes with a 2-point lead and the possession.
Dials sets the screen and then slips it. Nice move by Terence Dials. Iowa anticipating Fusch-Cheatham coming over the top. They just dumped it down inside.
18 tonight for Terence Dials. His career high 29 earlier this year against Mercer. Inside Hosket. Nice speed gets Hosket the basket.
No way Tony Stockman can stay with Adam Hosket. Nice move offensively by the Hawkeyes. Steve Alford's club just dumped it right down on the low post. Big size advantage. Good quick move.
Hosket the leading Iowa scorer on the night with 13. Sylvester once again lobbing for Dials. Thomas active to knock it away. Carver-Hawkeye Arena in Iowa City, the site of tonight's Big Ten battle between the Buckeyes and the Hawkeyes. Larry Morgan and Bill Hosket, glad to have you with us tonight.
Ohio State trying to feed Terence Dials from the high post that last time. A very difficult angle when you're coming off the top of the key, and then just a heck of a move by Sylvester, hitting the little jumper after the spin.
That was very athletic by the junior out of Cincinnati. Brunner looking for Hosket inside. And then the foul is called as the ball comes back to Henderson. Brandon Fusch-Cheatham on the foul. We take a look at the Big Ten scoreboard. Minnesota at Penn State leading by 14 at the half. That's a big game for Minnesota because if they get that one, they've got 10 conference victories. Now, no Big Ten team that's won 10 in the league has ever not gone to the NCAA when they were eligible to go.
Right. The only club that did that was Michigan. Gophers, as was Ohio State, a huge surprise in the league this year. And Dan Munson's club going for his 20th win tonight. And Jamar Butler coming back on the floor. He had the shirt up moments ago. Vince O'Brien taping those ribs. That looks like where the shot took place. That thanks to Greg Brunner as he went down inside.
By the way, that foul on Fusch-Cheatham puts Ohio State at the limit. That was their 7th, so the Hawkeyes in the bonus for the final 14-11 of the ballgame. Meanwhile, Iowa with just 2 team fouls.
Iowa coming with some half-court pressure, pushing Ohio State out further on the floor. What that effectively could do is just lengthen those passing lanes. Anything you try to get inside to Terence Dials. Now the Hawkeyes, after the pressure, drop back in the zone.
Stockman off the glass too hard. The rebound grabbed by Thomas. His 3rd rebound.
Buckeyes not getting back defensively, and Hosket taking nice advantage of it. He just sprinted to the other end, knowing that if he runs, his teammates are going to find him. That's exactly what they did. And the fans come to their feet in Carver-Hawkeye.
15 for Hosket, who ties the score.
Spinning move inside by Dials. Blocking foul inside. He paid the price. Was Thomas as Terence Dials, but here's that last 2 corner. Nice push up the floor.
Thomas has just committed his 2nd foul. The Hawkeyes with 3. Again, Ohio State already at the limit with 7. Sylvester inbounds for the Buckeyes. He plays along with Foster, Butler, Stockman. And also in there right now for Ohio State is Dials. Out of the corner, Foster with the miss.
Nice rebound by Terence Dials, and he doesn't get it.
Then he and Brunner battle for it, and goes out of bounds off Brunner. Bad Mata likes the hustle of his Buckeyes.
Well, Butler came back on the floor, and he looks like he's still having a little difficulty getting deep breaths, but he got caught up in the action moments ago. Got it to Foster, Foster in and out. Dials with a great offensive rebound, couldn't get it to drop. They go right back to the big guy.
Dials on the miss, big scrap for the rebound, and a tie ball is called. J.D. Collins right there to spot the held ball. The possession arrow gives it to the Iowa Hawkeyes with 12 minutes and 48 seconds to play in this tie ball game.
Dials missing a couple of opportunities, but staying with it, and then going on the deck after the ball. As you mentioned, Iowa gets it in the held ball situation, the possession arrow.
Seth Gorney, the 7-footer from Vandalia, Ohio, checks in for Iowa. Doug Thomas, who's given Iowa 4 points and 3 rebounds off the bench, goes to the bench.
Iowa Iowa has been taking advantage in this man-to-man of Adam Hosket against Tony Stockman. Posting big people up inside.
Brunner with a save, but then tries to get it to Brunner, who can't save it. And the Buckeyes get it on the Hawkeye turnover. Steve Alford's club will turn it over just 4 times in the first half. Ohio State, a team that ranks 11th in the country in fewest turnovers per game for the season, averaging less than a dozen turnovers per game. Turnovers tonight, there's the story, pretty even. So Iowa with 4 turnovers in the first half and 4 more here in the early stages of the second half. Crowd wanted to walk on Dials. Once again, they work the ball inside the Dials, works on the freshman and scores on it.
Ohio State was content to pound it inside almost every time down.
The Buckeyes regain the lead. Henderson, quick move, gets around Butler. Dials was over to jump in front and help him miss the shot, but the ball's thrown away and it's intercepted by Brunner.
Hawkeyes had the advantage in numbers, but elect to pull it back out, go with their half-court offense.
Porter makes a move on Foster. Shovels inside for Gorney. A foul called on Ohio State. The push from behind against Tony Stockman. That'll be his 3rd foul. Terence Dials having another big game against Iowa. 22 the last time they played. 20 already in this one. Ohio State with a 2-point lead. Ohio State 47 and Iowa 45. This Saturday, the regular season bows out with an ESPN Plus doubleheader. The Hawkeyes meet the Wolverines in Ann Arbor, and Gene Cady coaches his final regular season game as the Boilermakers visit Wisconsin. Check your local listings.
There's no way in the world it'll tarnish that great career he's had.
Absolutely. Points in the paint. The Hawkeyes have been doubled by Ohio State. That's a big story in this one.
And that's Terence Dials down inside. Neither team in the second half yet to make a 3-point field goal.
Gorney with his 2nd point, again coming off a career high of 6 at Penn State on Saturday. So as he's gotten more comfortable as this season wears on, Steve Alford giving him more playing time. He tries to tie the score. And does.
Nice stroke on both of those. High arcing free throws. As you mentioned, he was perfect coming into the night. Missed one in the first half and delivers 2 more there. Iowa stays with the pressure. When they've shown pressure, they've dropped back zone defense. And that's what they're doing again. Sylvester's loose along the baseline.
Foster gets open inside to knock down his first points of the ball game.
Nice move by Foster, hitting the little opportunity jump shot, taking it in on the dribble and pulling up before the next line of pressure could get to him.
Alaska down the lane, takes it to the rack, doesn't get the roll, but Brunner's there with a right-handed tip in. Brunner's tip ties it at 49.
Right place at the right time and doing it with effort. Even though he's had the tough night offensively, he stays right with it.
That'd be the opportunity tip, right?
You got it. Hawkeyes back man-to-man. Something to look for in this game the rest of the way is you talked about Terence Dials being in the best condition in his life, but he hasn't come out of this ball game yet tonight.
Butler with the first 3 by either ball club in the second half. Butler doesn't shoot as many threes as his teammates, but he hits a big one there to give his team a 3-point lead. Horner tries to tie and does.
Well, he had no threes for 10 minutes and then back-to-back trays as Foster went for the steal, made the reach. Horner made him pay the price. He has terrific range.
Yeah, they could extend the 3-point line to another 5. Wouldn't bother Jeff at all.
Iowa trying to double the ball out on top.
A long rebound over the head of Horner and picked up by Foster. Open in the corner, Butler for 3. Rebound secured by Brunner. That is his 8th rebound of the ball game. Horner again a deep three, not this time. Gordy there battling, but taken away by the stronger Terence Dials. Lead feed to the drive by Jaquel Foster.
And Ohio State with one of their rare breakout opportunities here tonight is Foster getting out in front of everybody. Nice catch, good finish. And there's a bump by Sullinger.
And that will be his 4th foul. So J.J. Sullinger with his 4th foul.
We saw Iowa do this earlier. Jamar Butler pushing it up to his running mate.
Thompson comes into the Iowa lineup. Henderson leaves. Brownlee also comes in. He's the lone Iowa senior and will address the crowd after the ball game, as is Iowa's practice on Senior Day.
Thad Matta talking things over with J.J. Sullinger, and this creates some matchup problems for Ohio State, something that Iowa has attempted to take advantage of and did a nice job earlier in this half with Hosket posting up smaller players down inside. We'll see if they don't try to go back to that.
Hosket, Iowa's leading scorer on the ball game. It's his 16th point of the night.
Fabulous track athlete at the high school level.
He's just very strong. 6'5", 210. His first year at Iowa State, he lost a lot of weight, got down to about 185 by the time the season ended, and he said he didn't feel nearly as strong. This year's been able to keep the weight on, and he says it has really helped his game. He feels stronger, much more effective, and he ties the score at 54. Against Brownlee.
Dials with a high screen, and Terence Dials taking it inside after the little roll. Doesn't get the finish. He'll have to go to the line to see if he can add to the score for Ohio State. Two teams tied at 54 apiece.
Seth Gorney with his first foul. Dials taking it right to the rack. He does that so well, so strong. Challenging the freshman. Dials only a 61% free throw shooter, and that's his 3rd make of the night, and that is 5th try. 21 points for Terence Dials.
Well, when he shoots them in rhythm, he does very well. When he takes it up and hesitates, and he has difficulties with it. Both of those look solid, and he gets the roll on the second one.
So 22 for Dials to lead all scorers, and it's Ohio State by 2 in this very tight ball game. Bill, this has been a good one tonight.
Excellent basketball game. Both teams playing very hard. Iowa with a great hustle play by Horner right at the end of the half to lead to another 3-point attempt and make by their club. To really give them a little bit of momentum. And here's nice ball movement inside, and Gorney gets the easy one.
His first basket, his 5th point, and once again, the ball game is tied up.
The big freshman from Ohio making some contributions. Ivan Harris, the big first half.
Terence Dials reaches in and gets a foul. His 2nd, and Horner will be at the line.
That extra pass inside. Help doesn't get there in time, and Gorney just takes advantage.
Freshman to freshman. Thompson to Gorney. Now Horner, one of Iowa's better free throw shooters, one of the best in the league at 77%, puts Iowa back into the lead. 15 for Horner, who stands number 4 in career assists, and number 4 in career assists, I should say. Number 5, he's just a terrific scorer and quickly mounting his way to top categories of many Iowa categories. He's got 16 points in this ball game. What a game. 7
ties. Numbers at Iowa. He's just going to get his name in about every column. There's Butler. Just burrows his way inside. It doesn't drop.
Freshman may have been a little out of control there. Iowa tries to add to a 2-point lead. Thompson open at the free throw line. Shot clock hits 10. Horner races around Stockman. Does a nice move in the air to score it. 18 for Horner. The crowd on their feet. Iowa with a 4-point lead. Their biggest of the second half.
Thad Matta wants to talk it over for Ohio State as the Hawkeyes, as you mentioned, expanded to 4.
7:07 to play in the ball game, at least in regulation, a 4-point game. We welcome you back to Iowa City. The Hawkeyes lead the Buckeyes 60-56. Jeff Horner having a big night.
Well, he's making plays. First field goal tonight went beyond 1,000, and he's not going to stop. He has 19 in the game, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. None bigger than this one right here. He just took it upon himself. Took Stockman one-on-one down the left side, and then good body control as he knocked in the short jumper.
Has 4 3-point baskets in this ball game, which moves it into 4th place as far as 3-pointers in a single season in Iowa history. Next one, he surpasses Kent McCausland.
Ohio State is going to go right back inside to Terence Dials. And Ivan Harris with a nice tap.
Harris, who got 11 in the first half, gets his first 2 in the second half. And once again, it's a 2-point game. Inside 7 minutes to play. Iowa trying for back-to-back Big Ten victories for the first time this season. Hosket takes it to the rack for his 19th point. Hosket and Horner, 19 apiece.
And that's the matchup Steve Alford likes. Adam Hosket down inside with Tony Stockman guarding him. He just posted him up, took him right to the hoop.
Harris against the freshman, Alex Thompson.
Double, triple team on Dials for a moment, and he throws it away. So you wonder if that fatigue factor not starting to set in a little bit on Terence Dials. Upset with himself down at the other end. Didn't give his team a chance.
A big guy at 6'9", 255, who's not had a minute's rest tonight. Iowa tries to pad a 4-point lead.
Del Foster going one-on-one defensively against Horner, and Horner with a hot hand delivers again.
He's having a great shooting night, isn't he?
Terrific moves one-on-one. So since the last dead ball, Steve Alford going right to his 2 big guns. Hosket and now Horner. And Iowa with a 6-point lead.
And that duo is combined for 40 points tonight.
Terence Dials, he just challenges everybody inside, and he'll go back to the free throw line. Triple teamed or not, gets it to go off the glass.
We take a look at the reset in this one with Iowa leading Ohio State by 4. Ohio State has already committed 10 fouls, so Iowa in the double bonus the rest of the way. You saw the timeout situation, and the possession arrow points to the Buckeyes.
And those timeouts could be critical for Thad Matta, for that guy right there, big number 34, as he steps back up to the line for Ohio State. As you mentioned, he's gone the entire way, and it's a lot more than just the minutes when you're being double and triple teamed inside and working the boards the way Terence Dials has. It's been very physical inside as far as he is concerned here tonight.
Thad Matta has reinserted J.J. Sullender with 4 fouls into the lineup. Dials on the miss, and Brunner pulls down the rebound. 9 rebounds for Brunner, who's the Big Ten rebound leader in league play at 8.3 a game.
Ohio State coming out with a little zone defense. Sullender with foul difficulties.
Iowa would take their biggest lead of the night with a score. The hot hand of Horner. Is he still hot? Yes. He's scoring every way you could.
Right through a zone defense. Just puts it on the floor. Good players make plays, and that's what he's doing in this second half.
Horner's career high, 27 earlier this year at the Maui Invitational against Texas. He's got 23 in this one.
Giving Sullender some room on the outside.
Butler tries to penetrate. Brunner blocks it. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Now 4. Now 2. And a shot buried.
Big hoop by J.J. Sullender. Cuts it back to a 1-possession situation. Iowa with the ball. 3-point lead.
First 3 of the night for Sullender.
Ohio State showing zone again. Obviously, they have to find Hosket and also Horner when you're playing in the zone. There's Brunner going to be called for a little push-off down inside.
Brunner with the foul, his third. There's a break in the action. It's been a tight one all night long, and right now Steve Alford's team up by 3. Producer Steve Woodruff, director Anthony DeMarco in the ESPN Plus truck. Now we come back inside Carver-Hawkeye Arena. It's been a tight one all the way. Early Ohio State led by 9. It was a 1-point game at the half. The shot rims out by Butler. The offensive rebound is put back by Dials.
Hawkeyes got Ohio State missing from the outside. Missed the block out inside. Terence Dials cleans it up. 1-point game.
He's got 26 points. Rare miss in the second half for Horner. Billy has not missed a minute.
He's fought off the man-to-man. He shot it outside. He's taken it inside. This time Steve Alford's club was against the zone. Horner having a great look. It doesn't go, but Brunner had the position, and Terence Dials knocked it out of bounds.
Dials 26 points, 8 rebounds tonight for Ohio State. Brownlee will inbound. Iowa tries to stretch a 1-point lead as we near the 3-minute mark in regulation.
Any fouls against Ohio State? The Hawkeyes will go to the line in the double bonus.
Hosket tries the baseline pass intended for Thomas, but is picked off by Jaquel Foster. So now the Buckeyes can regain the lead. Brownlee guards Butler.
Clearing out the side, going to Dials again. Great help by Brownlee. Nice effort. Ball will stay with Ohio State with 18 seconds on the shot clock.
Brownlee with some great hustle, as you say, to knock it away, to knock it out of bounds.
Terence Dials limping again out there.
He's a warrior, though.
We've seen some contact in this one.
He's played through it. Buckeyes trying to take the lead. Dials calling for it against Thomas. Tips it back to Thomas.
Stepped on the end line. It will go back to Iowa. Not a good set for Ohio State. Nice job defensively by Iowa, forcing Dials almost all the way in the corner. Had he even received the pass. Not in a position to do much with it.
Doug Thomas, the junior college transfer from Southeastern Iowa Community College, really having a good ball game. Doesn't have great numbers tonight, but solid numbers, and has made some big defensive plays.
Nice catch by Brunner inside, and he just stays with it, puts it up too strong.
Brunner, Iowa's leading scorer, held to a single field goal and 4 points so far in this ball game.
Thad Matta concerned with the offensive set the last time down. Quickly calls a timeout. Is it 2:06 remaining in regulation? Ohio State trailing by 1. You look at the timeouts. Iowa with 4 remaining. Ohio State now with just 2.
Ohio State with a possession and another chance to regain the lead. Well, Thad Matta has talked about his ball club, and of course, they don't have the carrot of the postseason. But what he's told his team is every game is an NCAA game for us, and we've got something proven. He's told people that what he would like people to say on Selection Sunday is, you know, if they hadn't voluntarily withdrawn, the Buckeyes would be in that final field.
Well, they're working hard here tonight on the road, trying to pick up their 19th win of the year. And, of course, the Hawkeyes trying to keep their hopes alive.
Iowa looking for their 18th win this season. They're trying to go to 6-9 in the Big Ten. The Buckeyes trying to go to 8-7 in the Big Ten and 19-10 overall.
Buckeyes have continued to go inside to Terence Dials.
Sylvester, an open lane to the basket. Bumped by Brunner on the way in.
And bumped well enough that the shot didn't drop. They brought Dials up high. Sylvester just took it the other direction. Brunner was overplaying it. Matt had a chance to roll that one up and in, but he was bumped as he took it to the hoop. He'll shoot a pair.
This is the first. He's a 78% free throw shooter on the year. Brunner with that foul now has 4. And Sullinger has 4 for Ohio State. And Sylvester gets the second one to go. That tie it at 66. Put it at 55 to go.
Ohio State showing zone once again. Now Steve Alford wants to talk it over.
We've come to that portion of the game that coaches really want to be able to call a set play on the inbound. That's what Steve Alford is drawing up right now for his Hawkeyes.
Plus, coming out of the dead ball situation after Ohio State Sylvester made a move, he really wanted to look and see if Ohio State was going to stay in the zone or go man-to-man. They showed zone, so he calls the timeout to get the shot that he wants. As you look at the reset of the numbers.
The Buckeyes 2 timeouts remaining. The Hawkeyes with 3. Buckeyes have the possession arrow. And again, Ohio State not yet in the bonus.
Interesting to see now after this dead ball situation if Ohio State stays with the zone or picks up man-to-man. Appears to be the zone.
Alaska, Brownlee, Horner, Thomas, and Brunner on the court for Iowa.
Horner has made plays all night.
So the Buckeyes will keep a close eye on him.
And you know Greg Brunner will get active going to the offensive glass if necessary.
And Alaska beats up from the outside and gives Iowa the lead.
Not necessary on that one. Alaska got his feet set. Nothing but the bottom.
Alaska's 3 gives him 22 points tonight.
Pressure goes back to the Ohio State offense.
Sylvester for 3. Yes!
Big hoop right there. Little ball screen, and Sylvester just slips to the corner.
Tie game into the final minute. An Iowa Hawkeye team that has been so tested in the close games this year. They've lost 2 in overtime. They've lost 2 road games by 3 points apiece. They've lost a home game by 2. So they've been close so many times, but they've been unable to finish. Their question, the question in Steve Alford's mind right now is this the night they finish?
Well, a huge answer. The last time down, they get Alaska the open shot. Jeff Horner's made plays all night. There was the opening 3 that sent him over 1,000. Kel Foster here in the second half made a dive for that one, missed it. And Horner's shown he can do it a lot of different ways. Not afraid to take it inside. He's rebounded well tonight. He has 5 assists. He's got him going left. He's gotten him going right. He's gotten him outside. So a great night for Jeff Horner with 23 points, 8 boards, and now 7 assists.
You know, he's not all that far from a triple-double, Bill. That's quite a night. Final minute. Game is tied.
Ohio State back man-to-man in this possession. Foster against Horner.
Horner on the baseline to Thomas.
Explosive dunk by Thomas.
Count it, and he's fouled. Doug Thomas with a big basket, his biggest as a Hawkeye.
Nice drop off right there. Horner had the advantage coming inside. Ohio State, obviously he's the big gun. They move toward Horner. He dropped it off very neatly. An explosive move by Thomas. Quick dunk, strong dunk.
Thomas, a 65% free throw shooter, hits a big one.
Huge three-point play. Now the last time Ohio State answered the 3 with the 3. Same situation now with 35 seconds remaining. Pressure on the Ohio State offense.
Sylvester got the 3 last time. This time we go inside to Dials. He scores it. And he is fouled. And he has a chance to tie the ball game up at the free throw line. 28 for Dials.
Well, Larry, we've seen shots behind the arc matched by both clubs. And now Dials with a chance to match the inside. The three-point play the old-fashioned way. We saw Thomas with an explosive play and a jam.
And the foul on Brunner, and he is fouled out. So Greg Brunner fouls out.
Terence Dials catching it down on the low post, doing the job all night for Ohio State. Has the ability to use both hands inside. Got some nice looks from his teammates. As we mentioned a couple of times, has not come out of the basketball game the entire way. No free throw bigger than this one now. 27.2 seconds remaining.
He is 4 of 7 from the free throw line tonight. Has 28 points. Ties the career high if he hits this one, but more importantly, ties the ball game. Of course, Greg Brunner has fouled out. It's tied.
Well, these clubs just continue to trade punches with one another.
Oh, it's been a terrific ball game. An early 9-point lead in the first half for Ohio State. This second half, the teams have never been separated by more than 6 points. It's been tied up numerous times, and now we come down to the final 27.2 seconds of regulation. Tied, it's Iowa with the basketball, and the possession arrow is Ohio State.
The Hawkeyes with postseason play still on their mind. Ohio State playing for pride. And they've been on the back of that man right there, Terence Dials.
Terrific individual performances tonight, and none bigger for Ohio State than Terence Dials, and none bigger than that last free throw. Gave him 29 points, ties a career high, but more importantly, tied the ball game.
Ohio State showing man-to-man. Foster against Horner. J.J. Sullinger against Hosket. All they wanted to do, they just wanted to see what the defense was. Steve Alford takes the timeout.
Iowa, so many close losses this year, but a chance now to win one late. Pregame, the new associate head coach this year at Iowa, talking over with Steve Alford as they walk to the huddle. So what do you look for from both ball clubs here, Bill?
Well, I think Ohio State will probably stay in the man-to-man situation. Thad Matta has played zone very few minutes all this year and did protect people in foul trouble here late in this game. But the last 2 possessions, they've come man-to-man. And when you look at Steve Alford's club, the primary objective will have to be Horner or Hosket to make the play. Brunner is now fouled out. Now, the last time Horner was making the play, and he dropped it off to Doug Thomas for a nice 3-point play inside, but it was only after the defense all collapsed on Horner.
Brunner with 23, Hosket with 22 to lead Iowa in scoring. The Hawkeyes, who had a 12-1 non-conference season, but then lost their first 2 Big Ten games, have been playing catch-up ever since, trying to win back-to-back games in the conference for the first time this year as they try to build some momentum as we head to the Big Ten tournament next week. Now, you take a look at our game reset. Again, Buckeyes still have the possession arrow. Each team 1 timeout remaining.
Ohio State would be shooting a 1-on-1 unless fouled in the act of shooting. Iowa, it's 2 free throws the rest of the way.
Butler, Dials, Sylvester, Sullinger, and Foster on the court for Ohio State. Brownlee, Hosket, Horner, Gorney, and Thomas on the court for Iowa. Here we go. Shot clock is off. Game's tied.
Hosket roaming the baseline. Horner holding the ball out near the midline. It looks clear they're going to go for the last shot.
There it is by Horner. He got it with 3 seconds.
It's a nice one-on-one move, and Thad Matta now takes his last time out.
25 for Horner. His mom and dad, Bob and Bev Horner, cheer their son as he has given Iowa the lead with 3.4 seconds and a Buckeye timeout.
Well, 20-plus seconds left, and he put it up with just enough time to either make or miss, and his team to get 1 offensive rebound not necessary. Nice move by Jeff Horner.
He's had an incredible line tonight. Now the Big Ten's leading shot blocker, Eric Hansen, is being inserted into the lineup. Henderson, who's very quick on the perimeter defensively, will also come in for defensive reasons.
But Ohio State has to travel the length of the floor. I'm sure they're taking a quick look to see if that was a 3 or a 2.
They had ruled it a 2. The officials did go to the monitor. Yeah, it was. He appeared clearly inside the line. So now the Buckeyes, 3.4 seconds. Need a 2 to tie and a 3 to win it.
Well, they work on a lot of different situations. Of course, Ohio State cannot push it up the floor and try to take even a quick timeout. They don't have any left.
So Iowa trying to win their second in a row. The Buckeyes trying to break a 2-game losing streak. And both teams have fought hard for all 39 minutes and 57 seconds so far.
Horner and Dials with great games. Sylvester's made some key shots late.
Sylvester with 8 points in the second half and 10 points for the ball game.
Hosket played an excellent floor game. Brunner quiet here tonight, but Horner has really picked up the slack for his teammate. There's Eric Hansen. He's going to be tall on the ball, making Matt Sylvester look around the outstretched arms of the 7-footer. And now Steve Alford takes another timeout once he saw the alignment Ohio State came out in.
Now Hansen along the baseline to protect the inbound speed. That's not an easy presence to get around and try to sign somebody, is it?
No, and there has to be a baseball pass to get it pushed up the floor. And everybody in college basketball remembers when Rick Pitino elected not to guard the inbounds pass for the long pass to Christian Laettner. And I think that's been shown so many times in replays that just about every coach now puts somebody on the ball out of bounds.
Seen it happen too many times when you didn't guard the inbounds pass, and bad things can happen. It's been a thriller tonight in Iowa City all the way. And we come down to the final possession. 3.4 seconds left in regulation. There's Adam Hosket, 22 points tonight.
One thing Iowa does not want to do is commit any personal fouls in this situation, especially on a three-point attempt.
The inbound speed comes to Butler, and Butler stepped out of bounds. Butler steps out of bounds with a second to play, and the Iowa Hawkeyes are going to win their regular season home finale.
Ohio State pushed it up. Had he stayed in bounds, they would have gotten a field goal attempt, there's no question. But a great game by Jeff Horner here tonight, and he was the difference.
Horner with 25, he hits the game-winning shot, and the Hawkeyes best the Buckeyes 74-72.
And I'll tell you, he played great. The game-winning shot down the stretch, no bigger than the great play he made to end the first half. To get his team 3 more, they end up winning it by 2.
You bring up a great point. Here's the game winner.
Nice follow through, nothing but the bottom. Great effort by Terence Dials, but overcome by the home squad here tonight. And that man right there, Jeff Horner.
On the night he becomes a 1,000-point scorer. He also scores 25, hits the game winner. This was a good one tonight in Iowa City. The Hawkeyes outlast the Buckeyes. Final score 74-72. This Saturday, the regular season bows out for the ESPN Plus doubleheader. The Hawkeyes beat the Wolverines in Ann Arbor. Then Gene Keady coaches his final regular season game in Madison. Check your local listings. This has been a presentation of ESPN Plus, the worldwide leader in collegiate sports television.